After my delicious lunch at La Trappola, I sauntered down the shady side of Corso Garibaldi, past Via Croce, and stopped at the Palazzo Anguissola Scotti di Potenzano, one of no fewer than 4 palazzi in Piacenza bearing the Scotti family name, and one of at least 3 with the Anguissola family name. I enjoyed the glimpse into the custard-colored courtyards. Piacenza's center is marked by the Piazza Cavalli, considered to be one of Italy's most beautiful piazze. Here's a 360-degree panorama, starting from the late 18th century Palazzo del Governatore, or Governor's Palace. The piazza is dominated, of course, by the Palazzo Comunale, usually referred to in Piacenza as the Palazzo Gotico, a magnificent work of Gothic Lombard architecture from the late 13th century. Today, in addition to filling the bureaucratic duties of being the town hall, it's also home to art shows and various cultural events. But the name for Piazza Cavalli comes from the 2 great equestrian statues of Ranuccio Farnese, the commissioner of the works, and his father Alessandro. They are the work of the Tuscan sculptor Francesco Mocchi, who realized them between 1620 and 1625. Here's Ranuccio, on the right side, seen from the piazza, of the palazzo. Despite the obvious intention of glorifying the rider, the point of an equestrian statue is also of showing the horse, not just the ruler holding the reins. On the other side of the Palazzo Gotico is the much more dynamic statue of Ranuccio's father Alessandro. I don't travel with a crane, so my only vantage points when filming are from underneath. But I think these perspectives give a good view of not just Alessandro and his flying cape and debonair hairstyle, but also of the horse's mane and especially the tail. And you get to compare boots and hooves from various angles. The Farnese statues are some of Mocchi's most famous works, the others situated primarily in Orvieto and Rome. My waiter at La Trappola insisted that the statue's commissioner Ranuccio Farnese had been so jealous of the works that, exercising a kind of brutal copyright, he had seen to it that Mocchi could not create any other equestrian statues for other rulers by having his eyes put out. As I have been unable to find any substantiation for this rumor whatsoever, I attribute it to too much visciolata-induced imagination on the part of my waiter. Palazzi are everywhere in Piacenza. Hard to find a street not lined with them. One of my favorites was the Palazzo Mandelli from the mid-18th century. It occupies an entire block of Via Mandelli in its flamboyant exuberance, with the salmon-colored facade contrasting with the gray shutters and cream window frames. All this ostentatiousness may seem out of place with the palazzo's tenant for over a century from 1913, the Banca d'Italia. However, the local seat of the Bank of Italy recently ceased its business activities at this address. By far the most famous palace in Piacenza is the imposing and somewhat severe Palazzo Farnese from the Renaissance. Never completed, it contains a vast number of museums with renowned collections in each. However, with museums, as with food, I will not be rushed, and an adequate visit would have to wait for a longer stay in Piacenza than just a few hours. Now it was time to walk back to the station past the Duomo and catch my train to Milan. Later on, I knew I would be having a fabulous dinner at Il Chiostro di Andrea. Don't miss the details of that menu in my next video.